Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Gay2k, a podcast for nostalgic millennial queers. On this episode, I am joined by Alex and our good friend John Paul, and we are going to discuss a camp that the three of us attended in the spring of 2004. We're going to compare that against the film Wet Hot American Summer to help us kind of bring some levity to the topic. This episode will be in two parts. One, mostly discussing the film. The second, mostly discussing our experience at this camp. We do deal with and talk about some heavy topics, so as always, if you are in need of help, please call 988. We did not go into this discussion lightly. We knew that it would be a heavy topic, but we wanted to get it out. It's the first time all three of us have really talked about it together, and well, since it happened, honestly. So I hope you enjoy our discussion, and I thank you for being a part of our friends and family here at Gay2k Pod. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Gay2k, a podcast for nostalgic millennial queers. Today, we are doing something pretty special. I have Alex with me and John Paul, and we are going to discuss the 2001 film Wet Hot American Summer. It shaped a lot of our taste in comedy, or just existed around our taste in comedy, and kind of emphasized some of the people that we grew to love in the 90s and 2000s. We are also going to take a trip in time back to our personal history, to a time back in 2004 when we attended a week-long camp called Unitown, or as I like to refer to it, as our sad, cold Nebraska spring.
Oh yes. No, yeah, I just checked the historical record and it was 2004 March 20th through the 22nd. So
Ooh, the exact
just
dates.
yeah,
Oh my
exact
God, it
dates.
was only 3 days.
It was Friday through Monday. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I knew that, right? Like my brain knows that, but it seems so long. So much happened in that
It felt like a week.
span of time.
Too much happened. Oh my gosh.
So, everybody that's listening is like, what are they talking about? We all went to a social justice camp, um, which that phrase sounds really weird, but social activism camp.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
it
that's
sounds
a
weird at
good
all.
way to describe it. Diversity, equity, and inclusion camp, DEI camp, maybe you could say even.
Sure.
No one
Uh,
ever said that back then.
we
That's
didn't have
true.
we didn't have the words, we didn't have the language.
We had better words. It was. Are we allowed to say Unitown or Anytown?
Yeah, I already said Unitown. Yeah. Does
Name
it?
them.
It's
Name them.
unifying, and anybody can be there.
Yes, Unity. Um, and we'll get into the details of our experience at the camp in a little bit. But Jean Paul actually, as an adult, worked for, is it the same organization?
It was the same organization, yes.
Yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about what the camp is and what your role was going to be?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So uh the organization is called Inclusive Communities, shout out. And so when we went through this program, the organization was NCCJ, the National Center for, oh my God, I don't know it, but it's not them
Community
anymore.
justice,
Yeah,
something?
National Center
Yeah.
for Community Justice. Yeah. But anyway, it's a great organization, and they do really good work in town. And so I was in 2019, 2020, was the youth program coordinator, and part of that was running the camp, right? So I was the director of the camp, and it just so happened that it was, my first year. So it was, first camp was just me observing. Second camp was then me taking over more responsibility. So then by the final and fourth camp, it would be under my full control, right? However, this was 2020, and that final camp never happened. So just my relationship to this program, this camp, is really fraught. And so just to be able to kind of go back and look at this Genesis, right? Like this origin story, because I think for a lot of us, this place in particular was the beginning of a lot of new ways of thinking and new ways of understanding our relationship to the world, and just the fact that I almost mine, but I didn't do that final camp. And as with the pandemic, we pivoted programming, and I was soon let go from the organization. So no tea, no shade on that. I think everybody that worked there is amazing. The work was great, but just my time had come to an end. But yeah, no, the things that I learned, well, wow, just I'm ready to get into it.
And I was thinking too, like we should talk about like how we, because I don't even remember, but like why did we all do this, and why did we convince so many of our friends to do it? So
I don't
like
remember
those,
convincing friends to do it. I think that's fantastic. I think
I don't know.
there was an option to not be at home and I could be with my friends and my boyfriend for a weekend. It's gonna be
Yeah.
a really excellent weekend. Were we dating then, John Paul? We
Oh
were.
Oh
yes, yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's very
And
crucial to the story. Uh, but no, yeah, actually, I went back. Like I said, go through the archives of Live Journal. I wrote it all down, so that's oh God, I can't like I've just been thinking about that. Like kids, your footprint on the internet stays there forever. And I just so happened to like and you did the same thing, Sarah, like write down everything that happened in high school and use names. And in some cases first and last.
Yes.
And
Yes. Why?
no, I
I
mean
still use names. I still name names. We've named
no,
grass.
actually no, actually we're bringing it back. Uh so but what was I saying?
Okay, first impressions. So we get off. Okay, no, even before that.
no, before that, it's super cold. We're like packed. We get in this bus and we're just like whispering and murmuring amongst ourselves, our little friend group, talking about like all the things that we imagine that we're going to be doing because we have no idea. We don't know that I personally didn't know there was going to be like a school structure to the situation. But when we get off, I remember Mo screaming at us and just like loving us and sending us like pounds and pounds of joy and enthusiasm and welcomeness. Do you guys remember Mo?
Yeah, when I checked the archive, her name was there.
Yeah,
Um,
she was super, super friendly. And it's only funny because the juxtaposition of when she gave us that super energy and then when we saw her again in real life, I think Sarah and I tried to give Mo that energy and then she didn't give it back because like it wasn't camp setting. And
oh
so
yeah,
like
yeah,
we
yeah.
were yeah, so we were completely we I was under the impression that was Mo all the time, but no, that was just camp counselor Mo, not Mo in the wild. So childish.
And that's
That's
part of
how
the
young we are.
training. Yeah, you got fooled. Yeah, no, they're acting.
We were
uh,
16, right? Or
no,
17?
Yeah,
oh,
All right.
I don't.
between 16 and 17. Yeah, I was
Well,
17 already.
I think to like even kind of preface it even more, kind of set the stage of like, because this is we're all public high school kids from South High, name them, and I think kind of just realizing what that means when you do go to a public school, right? And the types of programs and opportunities that are provided to you. I think I'm just realizing that like, oh, we kind of went because we were the GSA. Like that's why we went. Is because oh, you're the gay kids,
They
and
put all the
so
gay kids on a bus and sent them away for the
yeah,
weekend.
and so I think we were going into this as this group of gay kids, and I think for us, it's uh, we were very comfortable among ourselves, but I think this was one of the first times where it's like, oh, we have to be gay in public spaces with strangers and with adults that we don't know. So I think that was something that I was processing and thinking about the entire time was just like, oh gosh, like I have to represent, like I don't want to do that. Like,
Were
um,
there other clubs with us, John Paul?
there were other students. It
There
was a
were like
diverse
10
group
or
of kids.
11 kids altogether, I think, right? And it was from the GSA, if you're going to call us that umbrella, it would have been the three of us and Hightop and then Emily.
And
Um,
Gretchen, remember, I
And
remember
Gretchen,
saying
yeah, I was like, Gretchen was there
everyone.
yeah, our
too.
token. We needed it.
No, the joke was everyone from South was gay, black, Mexican, or
Mexican or
Gretchen.
Gretchen.
Yeah,
Yes. Mexican or Gretchen.
yeah,
Oh,
Forgot
man.
about that joke.
yeah.
That was clever.
Shout out
Good
Gretchen.
job.
And Dalton was there also. Dalton is another white guy. He's great. Uh,
Dalton.
so he was there too. So shout out Dalton. I ran into him like probably like 6 years ago now, and he's doing great. Is amazing, super smart. Like works for Facebook. Like so,
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
real proud
Good
of that
job,
kid.
Dalton.
So yeah.
I had a very rough fall that year, and a few of the counselors were like, "No, you need to go to this thing. You need to learn how to like." Um, long story short, I self-harmed pretty bad and wound up in the hospital, and the counselors at the school had various reactions to that, but mostly their only way of helping me was to make me meet other gay kids, I guess, or be in a situation where lots of people accepted my gayness. I don't know, but that was definitely this. It was introduced to me as like a you have to do this as part of, or like you really should do this as part of your experience with
Hmm.
this depression and other negative thoughts that's going through your mind. So that's how but I was still like, I mean, I was horribly depressed even going to that camp. Like I didn't stop being depressed. You know, like, oh yeah, I went to the hospital for self-harm and I come back, what is it? Three after the mandatory 3-day hold and I'm fine, right? Because that's
Hmm.
obviously how we get cured of depression, right? So I think um going to this camp, I was like, yeah, this will be a good time to get away from all of our parents and just kind of hang out and be together. Um,
No stress situation. It's gonna be great.
I expected it to be really chill, I think.
Oh
And
my gosh.
I think even then, like getting off the bus and being like you were like you said, like being bombarded with high energy people, I was like, oh no, my brain is not ready to process all of these things.
Oh no, it was like I felt like you see in like movies about like, people going to boot camp where they get off and like the generals are like yelling at them and like that was us, but they were just like the alligator is my friend, and I'm just like no, I can't do this nursery rhyme. That's one of the songs I sing. The alligator is my friend. Um, and I like
They sang that for us.
and they still do it like that and so these traditions like continue to this day and so that's something that I did enjoy kind of just seeing like oh like to this experience I had a kid was so unique to me and my friends and the craziest thing that we've ever experienced but it's just 4 times a year we get these kids through and we do this thing with them so yeah no and it's I don't know it's I've come to appreciate the exuberance that people bring when you first get there because I think that's very important for kids to just have to feel like safe, like,
Mhm.
oh, I
Absolutely.
see these other people being idiots. I can kind of like be myself.
Yeah. Because we did want to cloister up, and our initial, well, at least my initial um desire was just like get my bags, get away, and then go hide and
Yeah.
just hang out with my
Well,
friends.
and
I didn't
they
want to join.
intentionally made sure we were all in different cabins, like even like as far away as we could be from each other, basically.
Oh yeah, it was
Um,
torture. I was like, how could they do this? Like, yeah, no, it was definitely like, yeah, no.
mm, yeah,
It was it was refreshing though, and it was a shock to the system, and I liked I remember one of the activities because I was not expecting homework. I was not expecting like classroom type of situations. Very fun activities, but I wasn't expecting organized activities. I don't know what I was expecting. But one of them was this John Paul, you will remember the name probably better than I do, but we're walking, we take a step forward if this is a true or we stay
Hmm.
still.
yes,
Hmm.
that has
And
absolutely stayed with me for sure.
Oh
that
yeah,
was
yeah,
my first experience with intersection.
Intersectional inequity too, right? Like
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
really the
Yeah, that's the culture walk, and so yeah, they still do
culture
that,
walk.
and so yeah,
right.
no, like I think we did all these exercises and activities that were really like expanding our mind. So
Yeah, we can let's pause. Let's talk about Wet Hot American Summer because I don't want to not talk about that movie. And
Yeah.
I think we run the risk of
oh
we
yeah,
have a
no,
lot to
yeah,
discuss and unpack with Unitown. So let's just Alex, what is Wet Hot American Summer?
So it's a rom-com from 2001, and it stars a lot of people that we love or would grow to love, but they're just like young comedians doing this satire on 1981 summer camp movies or like summer movies of horny teenagers who are just uh, who have way too much adult responsibility and at sometimes no adult responsibility and children and adults interacting with one another and like all the expectations of the real world don't matter when you're in summer camp is kind of the idea. Summer camp is this thing, and all these events unfold over the last day of camp. Oh no, the last day of camp. Everyone needs to find their true love, get their hot sex romance, do a great talent show, have an amazing baseball team where final game everyone is just better than expected, and everyone gets a resolution, and it's just cheerful and silly and um, yeah, cheerful and silly. That's what it is. Um,
Yeah. So,
it's a
like you
little
said,
going. Yeah,
set
go
on
ahead.
the last day of summer camp in summer of 1981. The film came out in 2001. I do want to plug the name. Yeah, the screenplay was written by Michael Schulwater, who actually plays Cooper in the movie. Um, and it is just that, like you said, just a full on parody of cramming all of the events that would ever happen on any film about the last day of summer into one film. Um, and it's a bad movie. No, I mean it's not, but it's not a good movie either.
Not a great movie.
It's not a great movie. It's the pacing is clunky at best. The writing is strange on purpose, and it doesn't always translate super well. It is endearing mostly because of the cast that we grow to know and love.
I
Yeah,
didn't
no,
know
I
who
just
Bradley Cooper was
this
then.
is it's his first movie. No, this is his debut.
Right.
Yeah, no, I rewatched it the other night in preparation. And so like kind of just forgetting that this came out in 2001. And so I don't really remember when I first watched it. I think it was definitely probably like in college watching it. Uh, but no, it's definitely this idealized version of what like summer meant for what 30-year-olds in 2001, right? So like it's a while to kind of think about like just the influences of like the 70s, right? And the 81. So this was released in 2001, so 81, that's the 20-year span. And so we're reflecting on our experiences from 20 years ago. So like there's this
Yeah.
like the length in time between, the events and, as we were experiencing them, I thought was just really interesting. And yeah, this is just like so many people got their start in this movie, and you can really tell it's just a bunch of friends, and that's kind of what I like about it, and it's been inspiring to me. Is that oh, these are just people that are goofing, right? They're just filming their movie, they're having fun, and I think it's one of the reasons why it wasn't successful when it first came out because people don't like to see other people like have fun genuinely. I don't want to pay
Yeah.
to see your movie where you're like hanging out with your friends. But I think that it persists. It becomes a cult classic because it is that has that authenticity. Like, oh no, like it's before they were famous. They've always had it. They've been this way the whole time. Amy Poehler. This is before she was on SNL.
Yeah.
So to like see that, you know, she didn't need SNL. She was this character from the beginning. It's just really awesome to see.
Um, Oh, yeah. So my favorite, okay, I have two favorite. I have a favorite moment and then I have a whole favorite storyline because it's so absurd. My favorite moment because it's so stupid is when Cooper and oh my God, is her name Katie? Cooper and his love interest, they're sitting in a barn and she's like, I'm a little cold, and he's like, I'm cold too, and she like they just keep swapping clothes the entire scene, and like
She
he takes
offers
off,
first.
yes, she takes off her coat and then he puts his clothes back around her, and it just like happens like 3 or 4 more times while they're just sitting there. And it's so funny because those moments, those small intimate moments, are so real, right? Like how intense it feels in that moment to have somebody's clothes put around you. And they do it in a way that is so ridiculously over the top that it mocks and de-energizes those moments. But it's also really like, I think like looking back on it, like the love of my life, the person that I was so obsessed with at the time that when I went to camp with, like yeah, it looks that stupid in my mind right now. So it goes back to that thing, like how intensely I felt in that moment and how every moment was just that charged. And now
Yeah,
it's like
and I think that's what being a teenager is. And uh definitely, as I, just with age comes wisdom. And uh things don't hit as hard as they used to. And I was like, oh man, like feelings were big when I was that age. But I think it all happens for a reason. It's where I am who I am today because of what I experienced. So yeah, no.
I love that moment because they get closer. The physicalness of them gets closer, and there's that awkwardness. Oh, it felt so real. You're so right, Sarah. You captured that moment really nicely.
so unreal, but hilariously funny is everything about Molly Shannon's storyline, her
Oh my
entire
gosh.
storyline in the film. It's just it starts she's teaching like the art class or the arts and crafts class or whatever, and she's struggling through a divorce, and this significantly younger boy, like the actor is played by a child
Yeah,
to emphasize the age difference here, is comforting her on the struggles of life. And
and he's so adult. He's so mature, and he has a great cadence and just handles the situation. Like at first, when I'm first watching it, I'm thinking, oh, he's a perv. He's playing a perv. No, he's a genuinely nice boy. And he really means it when he puts his tiny little hands on Molly Shannon's adult shoulders and just starts rubbing because she's so tense. And she's like, oh, yeah, because that's Molly Shannon. She's so inappropriate all the time.
It made me think about was just uh again, thinking about it being in high school. I felt sometimes our emotional intelligence was greater than that of our teachers and counselors even. And so there are definitely moments where like, oh yeah, I had to come for you. Like, no, it's gonna be okay, don't worry, you're good at your job. And so like definitely seeing that like dynamic play out between Molly Shannon and this kid, I was like, oh yeah, no, sometimes it'd be like that where the person that is supposed to be in charge of you doesn't have it together. And you
mm,
just, when you're a smart kid, you kind of have to, that's your burden to be like, well, let me make you feel better. So
Aww.
um Alex, do you want to unpack the I mean the reason Alex and I wanted to pick this movie when we were talking about originally is because of the surprisingly hot and not very mocking sex scene.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Right? So Alex, do you want to go ahead and
The first,
give
I
us a
do.
play by play?
I do sort of remember when I first watched it. I was living in Texas. It was before I moved to Nebraska. So, in the closet kid with uh, frequent bi panic moments and just, that not the greatest lifestyle. Very, very, very quiet, very closeted, very private. And so the only outlet I had was watching television, and here was right on Comedy Central these quite suddenly two dudes fucking. Like that's what it was like when I look back. The setup in the movie is a little bit more subtle. Um, Michael Ian Black's character is hanging out with these other two goofballs, and they're always talking about sex like kids talk about sex, like, oh, sex, ooh, you're gonna do it, wow, put it in the mouth or whatever, just really unhinged, but also out of touch comments about sexuality. And he like, well, I don't need to watch this, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and go away because they're watching a bunch of girls like nymphs take off their clothes in the lake. Like there's a bunch of girls. Sorry, let me pull back. Michael Ian Black and his two friends are in the woods and they catch a bunch of hot girls in the lake in their swimming suits, and they're like making all these weird comments like, "Oh wow, look at her boobs! Wow, her boobs! Oh, they're gonna kiss! They're so horny!" And they're just saying these dumb things, and the
Talking about
most
all the way these girls want them and who all they're going to sleep with by the end of the camp.
that no, that's gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. it doesn't sink in. But Michael Ian Black's character is too like removed from that, and so it's like, hey guys, I'm gonna catch up with you guys later, and they don't care. They're like, that's weird, that's weird. But he goes over and he goes to meet his boyfriend, I guess, played by Bradley Cooper, in a shed, and it's a really like it's the most sincere and charged, unawkward moment where they look at each other and there's like this clearly a dewy steaminess in the shed, and which is like, yeah, it's a hot shed. It's
Very
summer.
humid in there. Yeah.
And they're just approaching and then they're like making out like very quickly. Like I had as a teenager, I had no um expectations. There was nothing to preface this would happen. And then in the movie itself, like they drop a dodgeball or something or a soccer ball, and so it's just their two legs gyrating, um, and all the sex is happening above us. And the only funny thing is that the legs keep on like crawling further up each other. Like there's nowhere to go because it's like really pressing against this wall. And yeah, I mean, that was so sexually charged for me. And I mean, I was a teenager. I'd never seen anything like that. It's the closest thing to pornography I think I'd seen well, gay pornography.
Oh yeah, no, I forgot like just how hot it was, and I think that you could tell that when they were filming it, it's how suggestive can we be without actually like having sex? Because it's just oh, it's just them in their like tube socks, right? And just I think for the male gaze, they nailed it. Like, oh yeah, like that looks like what it's supposed to look like. And it's either down to showing their feet or it's like showing their faces.
Mhm.
But I could tell that they were having fun with making it as sexually charged as they could. So I think that's I don't know, like it's a little, but it does a lot. Um,
Yeah.
and then what's really is it after this then they get married, right? Uh,
Hmm.
they
Yeah.
have the ceremony on the
Yeah.
beach, and
So
so
that character, Michael Ian Black's whole character storyline is about him interacting with these two friends who want to get him laid, and they keep suggesting it. And then eventually they're like, oh, where's he going off to? Maybe he's going to go hook up with somebody in the woods.
With
And
Leslie Knope, not Leslie Knope, with Amy Poehler's character. They're like running
yeah,
off in the woods, like, well, he's gonna need some witnesses, so they
which is
follow.
just, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to jump
Um,
your gun.
yeah, no, yeah. So then they actually come across the scene that, yeah, John Paul, yeah, if you want to go back into the wedding ceremony.
oh yeah, no, it was really beautiful. It's just like what I appreciated is that it wasn't a joke. It was very sincere, and like their friends were there, and they were all in on it. They were all aware that like, oh, this is happening,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, and then even when his the friends eventually they come around to it and they accept it. And for me, just watching that, like even though it was set in 1981, this was very 2001 for them
Mm-hmm.
to really kind of make the statement that this is okay. That oh, of course,
Yes.
they're gay, they have each other, and there's even what I really thought was funny at the end. Uh, they the two friends who were trying to get Michael's character laid at the final lunch or whatever. They're like, oh, we have something for you, and it's a crate and barrel chase.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I was like, and then for me I was like, was crate and barrel even around then? But that was where like my problem with it was. But I just thought it was
That's so funny.
uh it was a
Yeah.
fun touching moment again, just to kind of like cement the idea that like, oh, in this world, in this universe, like gay is okay because
Mm-hmm.
and all these actors are cool, so I would never expect anything different from them knowing who they are now, but just to kind of see that they've always been like, oh, on the ahead of the curve, or just at least like not shying away from it.
Yeah. It
As a
is.
teenager, go ahead.
Go ahead.
As a teenager, it was so weird, because the sexually charged moment was probably the most understandable piece. And it was on Comedy Central, so all these scenes are cut up, and it was not as lengthy or as or as explicit. I don't think I saw them making out. I think I just saw legs,
Mm-hmm.
and then like heads rubbing up against each other. So it was really short, little edited clip of this longer sex scene, and then later on, I see Amy Poehler doing the little flute thing at the ceremony, and the two guys are just standing there dressed like hippies to me because it didn't look like um, Janine Garofalo was doing a ceremony. I didn't know what a union was in 2001 or 2002. So that was really confusing to me. I didn't know what they were doing. I had no context for the experience that I was seeing on television.
Yeah,
Um,
why are two gays standing next to each other in the woods?
well, I
Like,
hardly saw Bradley Cooper in the first place, so I didn't know who the other guy was. I just recognized Michael Ian Black and a person. I didn't put two and two together. It was such a fast
huh.
series of these goofy scenes. Spliced amongst these other silly scenes was this other romance that Michael Ian Black was going through.
Hmm.
And I don't remember if the Shea Lounge and the cafeteria situation occurred on Comedy Central. They may have cut that out, but I remember watching it again later and then earlier last week. Yeah, earlier last week. How Bradley Cooper and Michael Ian Black are such like I know they're supposed to be counselors, but in that scene they look like 40-year-old men and they're just so comfortable like, "Oh yes, we live together. We live in this existence." Like it was so wild. It's such a weird little situation because they seem like the only adults amongst all these teenagers. I know they're playing teenagers. I know these other adults are playing teenagers, but
Yeah,
they're playing a straight couple. And I don't mean like heterosexual. I just mean like there's no comedy here. This we are true
right. That's a good point. For sure. They're not like, yeah, they are the,
a bit.
yeah, they're not, their personalities as gay men is not the comedy, right? It's everybody else's reaction to them. I mean, there is like that one moment where Bradley Cooper's like sitting on the bench and like using his hands to clap or something, and Amy Poehler like reaches over and presses his hands down. Um, which I'm like, oh no, I believe I've done that. I've
Yeah.
suppressed I've suppressed a gay man's hand
It's more about being
gestures.
in theater and being in the public eye than it is about being
But
gay.
honestly, is that not being a good friend though sometimes? Like I think let's give each other some grace.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, so I think it is I get what your point is, Alex, that it is like these two characters um and kind of also Janine Garofalo's character. Her comic bit is her romance as well, right? Like other than
Mhm.
that, she's pretty stationary and stable compared to the other people running around.
Because she's the one that's supposed to be in charge and she'll
Right.
just yell at them like, "Oh, you're
Um
such a bitch." And like, "I don't care. You do what I say." It's really
she's
awesome.
so yeah. But yeah, that moment at the end, right? It's I don't remember that moment at all the first time I watched it. The only when I'm thinking about back about this movie, this is so dumb. The only thing that I really remember is the cook in the can of soup from the
Mhm.
first time I watched it. Like that's the memory that like stuck with me and being like, this movie is weird.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
But so yeah, seeing that scene where the two friends barge in and say, "We have something for you," and like point at them, and then they're like, "It's a yeah,
Craig
it's
Barrel
a chase,
Chase. Yeah.
it's a
It's a
Crate
Chase
Barrel
Lounge.
Chase Lounge." Ooh, yeah. Um, yeah. So let's talk about the people in the movie and what all they've gone to do since then. John Paul, do you have?
Oh yeah, like I mentioned, Amy Poehler, like yeah, SNL Parks and Rec. Just she now has this new podcast called Good Hang, if you've heard about that. And she just had on that show Paul Rudd, and they talked about how it was just an actual party. So kind of just going back to that idea of just like, oh no, they were just really having fun and they were drinking and they were actually probably doing those drugs, you know? Um and
Oh
uh
yeah.
and I know it's as a creative myself, it's really fun to see when other groups of friends get together and do things like right now.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, so shout out to Amy Poehler. Paul Rudd, he's done a few things. Ant-Man being, of course, the number one thing he's ever done. Um,
Which
And I
is
just
weird to think about because I don't associate him as Ant-Man. Like he's not
oh,
just
not at all.
Ant-Man
No,
for
that was
us,
a
right?
joke.
Like,
Yeah,
but yeah. No, but he for most of
yeah,
the world, he probably is first and foremost Ant-Man.
yeah.
But that's not, I don't know, maybe not. But I don't see him as just Ant-Man when I look at him. I don't even know. I probably actually, which is weird because it was before this, I associate him as Clueless, right? Like that's the I see Paul Rudd and I'm like, oh yeah, Clueless.
Every time. I mean, he's
Sorry.
still the same age. So
Uh,
I
I
don't know.
just I was gonna say I just watched him in Death of a Unicorn. That was a
yes,
fun
that's
movie.
good.
Um, and he hasn't aged. He's that's the thing about all these actors. They're beautiful and they just aging like fine wine. Um, who else? David Hyde Pierce. You might remember him from Frasier. Is so I think which of these characters or actors are queer themselves? Do we know? Is David Hyde Pierce the only one? Is he even? Am I outing him and he's not
I think
even?
you're outing him. You're outing him to me because he was so handsome in this role. Like I forgot, he's really good looking in this role. I think it's the shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah.
came he okay. David I. Pierce came out in 2007. So it would have been after
Wow.
they were filming this movie. I'm sure he was probably out to them though, right? Because that's how Hollywood is. Like people
Yeah.
know.
Jenny Garofalo knows. Uh,
Why is Janine Garofalo not gay? That saddens me. It saddens me every time I think about it. Or at least, you know what? If she is gay and she's not out, that's fine. That's none of my business.
She was a
But
lesbian in Dogma.
she has played a lesbian and the voice, right? It goes back to the whole plot of the film, The Truth About Cats and Dogs. Like,
I just she'll always be what was her in Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion? She
mhm.
Yeah,
played what was oh god, what's her
I don't
character's
even
name?
remember her character's name.
forgot about Romeo and Michelle.
Janine. I'm like, Janine.
Janine.
Uh she's also another fave movie of hers as Mystery Man, where she was the bowler.
Hmm.
Uh so yeah, Janine Garofalo really ruled like late 90s, early 2000s.
She was a whole type
Yeah.
of sexy, funny lady in the 90s for sure. It was definitely a thing.
Yeah, and I guess some like of course like I said like Bradley Cooper, this was his first movie, and now he knows Lady Gaga, which this his career as a gay man is wonderful. He started this and then he goes to Gaga.
I'm
Um, so proud of him for that. Um,
so proud of you, Bradley Cooper. I
and
think
the
you can make it.
and
He's
the
got a
can
bright future.
the can of soup is Bob's Burgers. Did you know that?
What? Really?
Yeah, Bob
Like
from Bob's Burgers.
Archer and all that other stuff too.
That too.
Had he done anything between that movie and Bob's Burgers?
No,
Props.
No.
straight from soup to burger. That's what. Yeah, and I guess for other people in the show, they did things. Ken Marino, shout out to him. I think he's a cool actor. Which character was he? He was the one with like the curly hair.
Yeah,
What
his
was
whole
his
bit
name?
was he was trying to get back in time to have sex.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, there's so many weird things happening and so many plot lines that don't make sense on purpose in Wet Hot American Summer, and that's one of them, right? Like at one point in time, they say it would be impossible for him to drive back, and then he's like running. Like,
He's the only one that can navigate this river, the river, and the kids are in the wrong
yes,
place.
and the kids are just floating on the top of. I do also, when I saw that again, I was like, I definitely have a memory of like that still of them like just standing there being like, oh no, and then like him running off.
Well, it's just funny to think like what happened to these child actors? Have none of them done anything? Like the adults persist. They haven't gone anywhere. But these like were they just like actual kids at a camp that they infiltrated? Like their acting
I,
was really good.
yeah, especially like the guy, the young man who winds up dating Molly Shannon by the end of the movie.
Yeah, he's a little player.
Yeah,
A
he
little
hopefully,
player.
I'm sure if we looked at his IMDb, there's got to be something else there, right?
Mm, internet,
Well,
that's your job to figure out.
Let's let me see. Uh,
Alex said,
anything
I can be
else?
internet.
I can internet. I always think that Michael Ian Black was Hal Sparks because they had the same sort of look.
Do you know Hal Sparks is a homophobe?
No.
Yeah,
Really?
he's
Really?
the worst. Hal Sparks, who played Brian, no, not Brian. Hal Sparks, who played Michael in Queer as
Uh-huh.
Folk, apparently goes on a lot of podcasts and talks about how gross it was, and in general,
But he
this
didn't have to
is,
put it in for real. That was a choice.
I
Sorry.
mean, I
Yeah,
don't.
there is a Reddit thread, heterosexual actors who played gay and complained.
Mhm.
How dare you complain?
I
No,
think
I
yeah, it's very
Gross.
disappointing. Michael Ian Black is much cooler than Hal Sparks, I guess is the thing
Is
that I
the
wanted to
takeaway.
is the
no, yeah,
takeaway.
he just, he was a twink, and I think he did it. I think he did a good job playing his role as twink in Queer as Folk.
Yeah, right. I don't like it. It works. He was able to play it, and I can enjoy the film, and I can enjoy the fact that I know that he's never gonna act again. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Sounds like a threat, Sarah.
I'm
Jeez.
just
He's
saying,
never going.
you were that good at being a gay man. If you hated that much, I guess you're out of luck,
Guess you're
my
gay.
guy. Like,
Guess you're a gay. Christopher Maloney, wasn't it? And he was the guy
mhm.
with the PTSD. He took up a lot of scenes and would always say like these really awkward things under his breath. And then his whole story arc was like, I just hope that someone else hopes that he will come out and just be honest with who he is. And he tells the soup can to help him. And the soup can comes alive and tells him, it's okay. Uh, the soup can
Yeah.
suck his own dick, and he does it all the time. And he should also walk around with his confidence. And so, yeah, I do remember watching it the first time around and being really confused about Christopher Maloney's character like humping a fridge, but that's what he wanted to do. And everyone cheered him on in the cafeteria, and he got to walk away with the fridge mid hump.
Yeah. No, and like he has good technique. Uh I really like his crop top, like
Mhm.
that
Yeah,
too. Um no, and just he's also very sexy. Uh
thanks, man.
and no, yeah, I think again just proof that like he's always had it. And everyone knew it.
Uh, yeah, Christopher of Law and Order SVU fame. Right. Yeah. So
Also, wasn't he in a prison show? I didn't watch the prison show, Oz or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh, there's gifs all over the internet of his butt. So I mean like
that's where that came from. That's how I know.
yeah,
Like, that's a lie.
haven't
I think he might have been in this.
David
yeah.
May in there.
Um, I do think okay. So we talk sometimes about things that are relics of a bygone era. There's a lot of things in this movie that could not have happened if it were made today. But the one that absolutely could not have happened, even though it's full of comedy and satire, is Molly Shannon walking out implied in a relationship with a child. Like that is absolutely a relic of, and I'm sure at the time it was even like, like people were appalled, but yeah, it just wouldn't even make a film today. Like that's
Oh yeah, no, and I think it definitely uh probably had no objection because it was like, oh well, it's the boy and an older woman. That's okay,
That part
like
for
that.
real.
I think still persists to this day of just
yes.
like if it's the male centered or if the man's getting what he wants, no matter the age, it's great.
Yes. Yes, that still persists today to a slightly lesser degree, but
Slightly like oh yeah yeah I mean
slightly
yeah
lesser,
yeah
marginally,
um
smidge lesser. Yeah, it's
Molly
pretty.
Shannon. I was gonna say, shout out to so Molly Shannon and Ken Marino are also talking about post careers in the other two. If you've never watched that, it's an
Mm-hmm.
amazing comedy on HBO Max, and yeah, it's really cool to see just how they all continue to stay in each other's circles and just create things like
Mm-hmm.
it's always what hot American summer to them.
His
um,
name is Gideon Jacobs, and he's still an actor. But what has he done? Home Alone 4. Not a lot.
Mm.
not as like the main guy, kid though, or was he?
No, he was in Mr. Deeds. as an adult.
Dude, he's like our age. That's crazy. I mean, he's
Yeah,
36, which
yeah.
makes sense, I guess, but
This movie is 24 years old.
mhm.
Molly Shannon had just been Superstar. That's not true.
Pretty close. I mean, relatively, right?
5 years, maybe.
Mm-mm. Superstar had to be late 90s.
It was one of the first movies that I saw by myself in the theater. I think it was the first movie I ever saw by
99.
myself.
99. I mean, Molly Shannon might have, well, okay, so let's kind of compare the names that were not the biggest names at the time versus the ones that were, right? Like, so we do have some, like you talked about, Janine Garofalo was already a superstar, super kind of household name in comedy at the same time of Wet Hot American Summer because of The Truth About Cats and Dogs and Romeo and Michelle. She was and Mystery Men. She was a
Yeah,
household name in comedy already. Um, David Hyde Pierce was Niles Crane.
Niles.
Niles.
Niles Crane. So he was a household name. Molly Shannon. Those three are probably the biggest, right? That had already kind of had established careers in comedy at that point in
Yeah,
time. And everybody else is then this is not their jumping point to us because as we kind of said, we kind of discovered this film later than when it was actually released in theaters. Um, like significantly later in some cases. But um yeah, so it's like there are people in this film who were staples in comedy already, and then there are people who have since become even bigger than those people, right? Like Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler, I would say, have
Mm-hmm.
brighter
Elizabeth Banks.
stars. Elizabeth, I just forgot of Elizabeth Banks exists.
Oh,
Yes, she does in that film. That was definitely a jumping off point for her, and she's had a significantly successful career. Not all even comedy, just successful in
yeah,
general.
just being awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's kind of that's a weird moment to think about in our like personal history of like how these people's importance shifted in our lives because there was a time where like I was like Molly Shannon is my favorite comedian. Do you watch SNL? I love Molly Shannon. And then it was like pretty quickly, it was like, I love Tina Fey.
Joe Lo Truglio. He's
Yeah, he's
um,
in that movie. And then he was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah.
yeah, and I've seen him
Which,
in
yeah,
other
like,
bits.
no, yeah, I was like, I've only ever seen him in that. And so, like, when I saw him in this, I'm like, oh, you're in this?
Oh, you're
Wow.
in
Like,
this.
Mm-hmm.
okay, like, you are somebody. Okay.
And I think that's the benefit of watching it. Yeah, and like, 20 years later is like you remember the people who were big, but then you also are like, whoa, that
Yeah.
guy.
That guy. You've been around.
Hard work pays off, this is what it shows. So
And
good for
Marguerite
him.
Poirot, who was the love interest that we are just talking about with the sweater scene, who's a big,
Mm-hmm.
big young slut. That was such a cute. Sorry, she
What?
was. And in the end, okay, we didn't talk about this. She was a gorgeous, beautiful actor. She was in Firestarter and a couple of other films that I wasn't like, I love this film. But in this movie, Hot Wet American Summer, she's the love interest of the guy with the curly hair and switching jackets. But she's like really attached to Paul Rudd. And we didn't talk about this. That was probably that storyline nowadays means the most to me because I remember being the curly haired guy thinking like, oh, this is gonna be the one. I can change it. I can make this work. You just have to give me a chance and yada yada yada. Tell me what to do. And she's at the end of the day, she's just like, no, you're really sweet and you're really nice. And I'll probably be into you when I'm 30. But right now, I'm 16 and he's really hot. And I just want to fuck his brains out. And that's what I'm going to do.
How
So,
honest. Yeah,
pat on back.
absolutely. We've been there.
And
On
that's
Well,
it.
whatever side of that coin we're on,
yeah.
we've all been there.
It
Well,
took
I
me a while
think
to get to the other side of the coin, but yeah.
I guess just like thinking of that is just I think this film is also very heterosexual in just ways that I like couldn't relate to. Like I think it's really hard for me even still. Like I don't like man or woman, what are they doing? Uh
You're
but
like
like
you're just like icky.
not icky. Just I don't know. I don't understand. But even just for me, the opening scene of this movie are the boys are in the girls' bunks, and
That was
and then like
weird.
the bell rings and they all run back, and so I'm just like, oh, this is expected. This is and like I remember thinking to as a kid that age, like, oh no, this type of like heterosexuality, this heteronormativity is like I could have done that. I could like people would encourage it. Like it would be an open secret that like, oh, the boys are sleeping in the girls' bunks at summer camp. Like,
You.
In the
but
opening scene,
yeah,
it
but
wasn't sexual. It was very clear that the butts were like really far apart, that the faces were up close to each other, and they're just
Still,
like it's over the head, sharing secrets or like doing thumb war or like maybe touching
they're
boobs.
making
oh,
out.
you're
Alex, they're
naive. You're
making
so
out.
naive. Oh my,
No, they're at
oh
least, there's
no.
some heavy petting.
Here's the thing: the butts are apart. The butts are apart. How do you make out
That's just
heavily?
for
Because they can't
actors'
show it
comfort,
on
Italy.
film.
Okay.
You think they're gonna document it? Come on.
I don't know. I don't
It's
know. I don't even
implied.
know that. I don't have no proof there was another person in
See, you
the
don't
bus.
understand heterosexuality either. You're like,
You
you're
don't
not
even
touching,
understand
Understand
it.
my teen
you're not touching
sexuality.
butts.
You don't understand heterosexuality, is what John Paul said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here, I'll take that.
You think they're just telling secrets all
Yeah.
night?
You think, yeah.
I know something was happening. That was whatever. But like their butts
Yeah.
are so far apart.
You're right. But I think that's probably just easy to shoot.
It's stylistic and it's funny. And like I totally get it, John Paul. Like as a boy in 2001, it was expected that we had already lost our virginity last century. Like
Well, yeah, just
Pie and all those other films were very like
Yeah.
it was clearly aimed at teenagers, right?
mm.
But like
Mhm.
we're supposed to look up to something, and that would be teenagers. We should be more like teenagers. We should be more grown up.
Oh
That's the
yeah,
behavior that we should be having.
there's
Yeah.
not my representation, that's for sure.
Um, yeah, I mean that's such a I mean, and the truth is there for girls, the expectation is the opposite, right? Like, and that's and they're supposed to be chaste and not slutty, and the characters that are slutty are the bad characters, and like that kind of stuff. But
Back to our camp.
are we ready? Is there anything else we need to talk about in relation to hot, wet American summer?
I guess no. Well, I think one thing I thought David had peers group, like so all the kids were in different groups. He had like the science group, and so for me, just looking at that, like, oh, that's our group. That's the weird gay
Yes,
kids. So there's like
yes.
the goth girl, and then the gay kid with the rainbow suspenders,
And
and
the
then
Dungeons and Dragons dungeon
yeah,
master kid, and that was like the guy that saved the day. Like,
yeah, no,
yes,
yeah. And so it's just like,
that's our
yeah,
He
reality.
wasn't gay kid. He was Mork kid. He was Mork and Mindy. Like he was supposed to be Mork.
I took it as
Mhm.
gay coded. I was like, that's for me. That's my
They're
representation.
no, they're like they're the outsiders
Yeah.
Yeah.
of the group. I
He goes
absolutely
into the
get that.
cafeteria and is like, "Hey, where do I find the science kids or like the kids who like to do these sort of things?" And like no one knows what he's talking about. Like the guys who like to stay indoors. Oh, that table over there. Like that was really like okay.
The guys that
That's
like to
how
stay
extroverts see us.
indoors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I
Mhm.
just like the idea because I think I felt like that in high school. It's like I'm an outsider and I have to save the day, and so I think that was like just persistent of just like, okay, so to
Yeah.
be gay is to be special, and you're gonna have to use these powers for good,
Oh yeah, that's
That's
so
weird.
true. And everyone else is unaware. That's how it works. We're out
We're
here
just
changing the world, saving people's lives, and all of the normies are just in there enjoying some stupid talent show.
yeah.
Point of order. It might not have been the science kid. It could have been that big gust that came out of nowhere because the other weirdest kid was in the talent show making wind.
Yes,
So
you're
I don't
right.
know. We need somebody on the inside.